Hey everybody, thank you for joining me again on Make It Good. I'm Alex, and March is come and gone. It's now April. I finally have some time to shoot a quick video on the Vinegar Syndrome releases that I picked up. Some of them were new in March, some of them were older. I actually ended up doing 2 shipments just because one was announced that it was getting low on stock, so I did another order. So I'm going to run through these pretty quickly. I've got about 9 releases here. And yeah, let's go through them. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the titles that were announced in March that were brand new, and then move on to some of the other ones. So the first one that I got that was brand new is Hypochondriac. This is a film where a guy is, top of the world. He's living his best life, lives with his boyfriend, and then all of a sudden, his mom comes back into his life, who has a number of mental health issues, and he starts, from what I can tell, he starts getting kind of paranoid about how, starting to think about how he could start developing these same types of issues. And then on top of that, this is somehow a werewolf movie, which is awesome. I'm really excited to check this movie out. As soon as I saw the trailer, this was definitely one I wanted to see. Got the nice slipcover, of course. And yeah, let me show you the back of that. Yeah, and I just love when a horror genre is used to sort of talk about a deeper, more important aspect of real life. Hereditary, for instance, did a great job of that, and so this seems similar, very similar in the vein, but a very different genre of horror movie. And so I'm really excited to check out Hypochondriac. Okay, also in the month of March, I ended up getting a lot of documentaries. This year is my time to just see what else is out there on the fringe of documentaries. Some that, maybe I'm not hearing about and they just seem interesting. And so, yeah, so I picked up a bunch from Vinegar Syndrome. And so the first one is The Upsetter, the life and music of Lee Scratch Perry. I was doing some random research, just going down a Wikipedia hole, and I started looking at Bob Marley, but that led me to Lee Perry several months ago. And, I was like, who is this guy? I've never heard of him. So the name Lee Scratch Perry was just rattling around in my brain there. And I'm like, I want to know who this guy was who was so influential and so crucial to reggae music. And then lo and behold, in the beginning of March, we get this this release. And I love the slipcover because you got this reversible image on there. I think that's great. But yeah, I just want to know more. Like it was literally, here's a guy I know nothing about. I wanted to know more about it. I didn't want to just trust my research to Wikipedia, so got The Upsetter. All right, so the next documentary that I got is actually another music documentary, and that's Meet Me in the Bathroom. This one deals with the music scene in the early 2000s in New York. So there's a lot of the Strokes, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs are in there. Some bands that I like, and honestly, that was enough for me to check this out. So picked that up, very excited to check it out, listen to some good music, and there we go. Not really much more to say than that. All right, so the last documentary that I picked up in this first Vinegar Syndrome order was one that I was really excited about. Numbers for it were plummeting on their website, so I knew I had to get it as fast as I could. I immediately just dropped it into my my shopping cart, and it was one that was pure nostalgia, much like when I picked up Whodunit, the Clue documentary, and that's this. That's Golden Era. I had spent so many hours playing GoldenEye with my brother, with friends, and not only does this awesome slipcover, I guess that goes that way. So not only does this slipcover, meant to look like the case of a Nintendo 64, you got that. Looks like a cool N64 cartridge, even on the back. Look at that. That's fantastic. Anyway, I loved this game, and I realized I didn't know much about how it was made and like what went in and where Rare was as a company. I always saw the Rareware logo and I was like, yeah, that's going to be an awesome game. You had Banjo Kazooie, so many games. But yeah, of course, this was the good Donkey Kong. Let's Donkey Kong Country. Come on. But yeah, so I wanted to know more about what was going on when they made this game. Kind of look back on what the industry and gaming was, and so I picked this up. I'm gonna enjoy it. Okay, so the next 5 releases that I picked up from Vinegar Syndrome. 2 of them are documentaries, so I did pick up a couple of more that I was looking forward to. One of them was actually getting pretty low in stock as well, so I definitely threw that in there. The other one just looked awesome. And then we had a couple movies in there too. So the first documentary that I picked up in the second order is this is actually the one that was getting low, and another awesome slipcover. That's the first VCR, and also Cassettes Go Hi-Fi. So from what I'm looking at on these 2 documentaries, I believe it's 2 documentaries. Yeah. So you take out the slipcover, we got 2 there. So I am generally very fascinated with the way that particularly media, but technology in general in the 20th and 21st centuries sort of pushes how we interact with our enjoyment, with movies, television, video games, all of that. So I'm really curious to see how these touch on that subject. I don't have a lot to say about it because it's just a subject matter that was interesting to me. So yeah. 2 documentaries for the price of 1. I can't really complain about that. All right, so the last documentary in my couple of shipments from Vinegar Syndrome in the month of March is, so a little bit of backstory. Last year, no, it wasn't last year, it was a couple of years ago, my wife and I went through all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and we both sort of collectively felt that the second one wasn't great. But it wasn't for a lot of the reasons that I've heard other people complain about him. It's just, it sort of doesn't fit in with all of the movies as a whole. But the one thing that we both agreed on was that Mark Patton, the lead actor in there, he was fitting that bill of the stereotypical Scream Queen, which I thought was actually really cool. And then I was just like, yeah, that really separates this movie from the other ones. And then I didn't even know that there was a documentary all about Mark Patton 30 years after the movie came out. And it's about how that movie, but more importantly, how the sort of backlash to the movie, how, they, a lot of people thought the movie was too gay. The movie was too gay. And it also was happening in the middle of the AIDS crisis, which was one of the most, unfortunate times for, the LGBT community as a whole. And, it just really hurt the reputation, unfortunately, very unfortunately and unfairly. And so, but it also, kind of ruined this guy's career. And so, I saw this on there. I wanted to know more about it, wanted to know more about Mark Patton because I just had never seen him in another, movie. But on top of that, look at this. That is incredible. So it's a die cut slipcover. But yeah, I wanted to know more about the guy. I wanted to know more about, how a whole community embraced this movie, and kind of gave it some due that, it unfairly didn't get back in the 80s. So, yeah. So if you're interested in that, Scream Queen, I'm probably going to watch this in the next week or two. So the next movie I got, was purely because, once again, Donald Pleasance. I am trying to pick up a whole bunch of movies of his this year. And this one was like I think it was about 20 copies were left on there. And that movie is Good Luck, Miss Wyckoff. This one doesn't have a slipcover, and I don't think it ever had a slipcover. I think it was always just released as such. So I was like, hey, you know what, that one's getting low. I'm trying to pick up his movies, so I'm going to go ahead and get it. So I went, checked out the description of the movie later, and, it's about a woman who is beginning menopause, and, her doctor and a psychiatrist are saying, you need to build up your sex life, basically. Potentially, there's some troubling handling of not just, how some men are basically telling this woman how to deal with her sex life, but then there's some potentially troubling racial issues in the movie. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this movie after I watch it. Maybe I should have gone in completely blind. I'd be more excited, but you know what? You live and die by your purchases. So I picked up Good Luck, Miss Wyckoff. Maybe I'll be surprised, but I am a little worried going into it. So we'll see. We'll see. If you've seen the movie, please let me know down below what you felt of it. I wouldn't mind getting a discussion going on that. But yeah, Good Luck, Miss Wyckoff. I do actually like the cover quite a bit. I think that's cool. Like sort of an Adam and Eve little motif going on. All right, so the next to last release that I picked up was one that jumped out at me. I thought the topic of the movie seemed really cool. It's a horror movie. On top of that, it's one of the Vinegar Syndrome picture releases. It's the side-loading ones, and I just think those are awesome. And that is Censor. So this movie is about a woman, Enid, I think her name is, who is a censor for, back in the 80s, where they would review horror movies, or pretty much all movies, but they would review these movies, say what needed to be cut to make it appropriate to release, and then they, the people would go back and cut it, or they wouldn't, and then not be able to get a release in the UK. But then there's a mystery about like her sister had disappeared when they were children, and there's a movie that seems to have a woman who looks like her sister, or also has the similar circumstances behind her sister's disappearance. And I was just like, that sounds awesome, and that cover is extremely striking, and I like the back. Look at that. That's awesome. And what I thought was really cool was that you open it. So the side doesn't say censor. That says asunder. So what's asunder? So let's go that way. So that's asunder. But then that's the Beastman. So presumably these are movies. These are like little meta versions of movies that are within that movie. But then you go for, and then there you go. There you got the cover. And, like a lot of the Vinegar Syndrome stuff, we got a little flip cover in there. So lots of options on how I want to have this. I'm going to keep it as is. I think that cover is pretty cool. So, so it just seems like a really cool, interesting horror movie. Very excited to check it out. Okay, so the movie that prompted me to get the second shipment from Vinegar Syndrome is one that they had announced was dipping under 1,000 copies. I was trying to gauge about how fast it was going, but when I pulled it up, it was already about 700, and it was going fast. And you've probably already guessed what that was if you got the email as well, and that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Got the side loading box. Looks freaking gorgeous. I've been seeing people on YouTube showing off their copies. There's the slip cover, and I was very, very excited. So I have a really old DVD copy of this movie. I've always wanted to upgrade to at least Blu-ray. Got the 4K now, so I'm really excited to have that. So it is a movie I've seen, and it is It's so crazy, but it's one of Bill Moseley's earliest films. So I'm very excited to see it again. My wife's never seen it. So at one point, probably for Halloween, we're going to check it out. I may watch it before then. I don't know. I've got so many movies to watch, so I would be okay with waiting until Halloween to watch that. So. All right, so that's it. That's all of my pickups for the month of March from Vinegar Syndrome. Did you pick anything up from Vinegar Syndrome? What did you get? Did you want to talk about any of these movies? Particularly Good Luck, Ms. Wyckoff, because seriously, I don't know when I'm going to watch that movie. I may just, like a Band-Aid, rip it off and watch it, try to get my thoughts on it, but I don't know. I don't know. That's the one I'm worried about. But the others I'm all really excited about. So anyway, as always, watch good movies, eat good food, take care of yourself, somebody else, if you can, and make it good. Take care.